first of all, we're going to go over the red team, who are going to be Mind Grind. I'm going to start off with Sizer first, and he's going to be playing... Oh, he's going to be playing Sword Dagger. Now, I've been seeing Sword Dagger coming out a lot more. Not Sword Dagger, Sword Pistol. I just looked at it and I thought, I wonder if he's going to be playing Pistol. He's not. He's obviously going to be playing SD, which is what he normally plays. Yeah. I've seen people playing Sword Pistol in ranks. I've seen you people. But anyway, he's going to be...
Yeah, I've actually had a go at it myself lately.
It's kind of fun.
Here and there. It is fun, but I still don't really think it's viable. It's kind of a bad blood frenzy. Just because you have the huge delay on when it actually starts.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so he's going to be going with the Rune of the Pack there. Still, he's going to opt with the Signet of Agility, as well as going, of course, with Shadow Step, Shadow Refuge, and also Basilisk Venom. You know what Sizer's like. He's horrible at getting those decaps and being very mobile around the map, and very hard to pin down in that SD build. Then we've got Syndra who's playing...
Wait, just one thing. Not in the improvisation anymore. Maybe
he did go into that.
in thinking that that's not really the best thing to do.
Okie dokie. That was the second trait in Deadly Arts, was it?
Yeah, exactly.
4
points in Deadly Arts is what he had last time.
That's right. Good pick up, Nick. Obviously that wasn't working for him, but that's working for him now. And he's going to be playing Syndra, the Panic Strike DP build, and he's going to be running with that Infiltrator Signet instead of the Blinding Powder. Homunculus, he's going to be playing Sharpbow Warrior with the Sword and the Torch, of course. Sword and Warhorn, sorry. Wow, I cannot read today. He's going to go with Fear Me and also the Battle Standard. You have to forgive me. I'm a little bit... I've got a lot of cold medication in me at the moment. I've got the flu and I cannot shake it. He's going for the regular build, not going for that reckless dodge, which we see in NA a little bit more. Then we're going to go over to Skullkid, who's playing... Is he playing Hambo Warrior? Yes, he is. He's going for the 2 points into strength rather than going into tactics there. That 2 points, of course, is very, variable. You can kind of stick that wherever you want almost. But he's going with that. A percentage of power is given as a bonus to vitality, so he's going for a bit more HP. And he's going for the banner as well. So we've got 2 war banners. Wow. Okay, we're going to have a lot of sustain with those DPS coming in at different points in time. I wonder if they're going to stick together quite a lot, but Sizer's a bit of a lone wolf most of the time, but we'll wait and see. Double Dagger Elementalist at the moment is going to be over on Quve, who's going to be playing, of course, with Holdback Rune and Celestial Amulets. Usual utilities and traits there with the Fiery Greatsword as well for that mobility. Probably pop that off to one of the warriors over at the beginning. So going to go over to the blue team, which Mr. Nick is going to go over.
Yeah, and one of the reasons I picked this team is that the last time I saw we had a team where Chronox was in the lineup, and I didn't pick them to spectate, and they actually were running a 5 DPS team and almost beating, I can't quite remember who, but it was a pretty close game with basically people exploding all over the place. So this time I thought, no, Chronox, he always comes up with some weird stuff. Let's have a look at that. So let's see if he does not disappoint this time. Chronox starting us off with something fairly normal. He's on a Meditation DPS Guardian, playing the hammer variant. Of course, been a while since we've seen a great sword in that. Good CC, good burst damage. Needs to manage his cooldowns well, and is going for the Rune of the Pack. I know he often likes to play it very situational in terms of switching over to the Traveler Rune. Oh,
Nick. What? I just went on to the next person. Not that the name gives away the build.
Yeah.
His name is...
Tyrannosaurus Wrecked.
That's a great name. And he's allowed to play turrets just because his name is so good. That's brilliant.
So, turret engineer is running the Sentinel Amulet, and we have the Melandra Rune. So that is going to be tanky, and for the people who play against him, probably quite annoying.
Yes, just a tad.
Yeah, we've seen that lately coming up more and more. The two turret engineers and one Condi engineer team in the weekly cup it was, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. That didn't fare too well. Let's see how one turret engineer does. Then we have Nachtfuchs, which is a German name. Night Fox. It means he's on a power necromancer. So we're gonna see a Lich, and then we're gonna have lots of Shoutcaster screaming going on and lots of damage and maybe dead people. Then we have Chosen Sin, he's playing Dagger Pistol with a Panic Strike variant, and last but not least, Grandmaster, he is running the Shoutbow Warrior.
Okie dokie, so first game of the ESL Go4GW2 Cup, number 26. We've got splits going down at the moment. Both Thieves on the red team are currently just stealthing up as they look like they're going to be crossing over towards... Oh, they're going to split? No, we're actually going to stay in Size's perspective here as we go over onto the midpoint. We see the side nodes currently capped by each team of their home nodes at the moment. Sizer at the moment is going to be chasing... oh, wow, Nux is actually going to go down quite quickly here potentially. But we do have... Was that ChroNickGamer coming up from behind there? Nope, sorry, ChroNickGamer is back down on the point as well. So we did have actually... Nox got out of there. Chosen Sin came in. They're going back into that Shadow Refuge as well to re-engage over on the midpoint. Actually, both Thieves now kind of Shadow Refuging themselves, so a lot of stealthing going on at the top of the keep at the moment, and hopefully they're going to be able to pick them out as they come down into the node, although Sizer is going to disengage and go over towards the henge now.
Yeah, the two Thieves try to immediately not even go for the engage on the point itself, but take out Fuchs as fast as possible, and who can blame him? Take out the DPS Necromancer, and that's already a good thing going for the rest of the team fight. But they didn't quite pick him up there. The Vampirism really saving him in that instant, and now they might be regretting not really sticking to the target afterwards, because they just got wrecked on the midpoint. Maybe they can make something up here in terms of going on the side nodes, because that is where the red team currently has the reins.
No, I actually thought I had double vision because Syndranir and Sizer were like right next to each other, like really knowing where they were going, and they look almost identical as well. So it was just their focus on one person was just, you know, they kind of split up, then they came together and said, right, let's focus this DPS down, get him out of the fight. But like you said, over on the midpoint, they lost a lot of that sustain. They didn't really have much damage. So they were just sustaining, they were relying on that sustain to keep them in the fight there, but unfortunately it didn't happen in the end. Turret NG doing all his knockbacks and whatnot, as well as the damage coming out from him, and then the actual DPS on the point, kind of in the end just took them out, but still winning the game at the moment, even though they had a bit of a loss over on the midpoint. We have seen Kuve obviously go down over on this henge node as well.
Oh, we're going to see battle standard, too late.
Oh wow, that was a really late battle standard. Blimey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. And I have to say, I'm really liking this this Power Necro and Thief roaming together, because Chosen Sin is really there for the assistance in just stealthing him up and keeping folks out of the first prime target position. Just don't let any people see him, then he's not going to be engaged on.
Yeah, that's a good point, exactly. And that's the problem that, you know, Necros do have a lot of. You know, they get taken out quite quickly because they're very susceptible to damage very quickly, not got a lot of defense to their name. We're actually going to see Sizer and Syndranir take out here Chosen Sin again in that Vampirism rune. Oh my god, saved him so much that he could bring out the Shadow Refuge. We're going to see a banner drop as well coming out. Must have been by Grandmaster there, of course. I think it was in the end. We've just seen two kind of almost wasted banners, but at least that banner, you know, was a little bit more secure than the one we saw coming out from Skull Kid. So not too bad in the end. At least they got him up, and they've kind of got the advantage now over on this fight. So nice fear coming out as well as... not sure we're going to see Homunculus come out of this alive. Is really struggling at the moment. He's going to go into the downstate as well. We only have Kuve here to defend. Really, we could do with the Thieves coming up here, but the Thieves are doing the work on the rest of the map. As we see over on the mine, we're trying to see Skull Kid just keep that point. And actually, Hambo Warrior is quite good against turret NGs, unless you get locked down off node. So you've got a lot of AoE to try and take out those turrets, of course. But still not in the end, not able to keep the node in their favour.
I've actually had a look at the NA scene lately, and aside from the engineer being on turret, isn't this almost the composition that Abjurt is running right now? Nos is switched to power Necro.
Yep, pretty much.
So,
someone switched to Warrior. Did I can't remember if it was Wayne. Oh god, I don't know. Really
can't remember with that one, but it's a triple DPS comp, and I'm liking it. We really see people going down fast, but the problem that the blue team has at the moment is they're not really making anything of it in terms of cap. I mean, we've seen the meta switch to getting these kills and getting the caps as a result of the kills, but you can't really push that to an extreme.
Yeah, I mean the two thieves they're getting the nodes and they're getting the kills as well. But the thing is, when they're losing the points quite easily, I think they're really just bring up the scoreboard, have a look at the score. Actually, blue team have got a lot more points in terms of kills because they're getting those constant wipes, 2 or 3 man wipes at a time sometimes. Chosen Sin again in trouble. That vampirism proc's going to come out. They're all going to group together, generate a bit of healing and swiftness to get back up onto the point there as well. Just as they do, we do see Homunculus was trying to get on though to try and get the decap there. So we're going to see a bit of a big team fight coming out. And Noctis, he's not got that defense coming out from Chosen Sin because he's had to bail off in his own way. We're actually going to see him go down there as well. Chosen Sin just backing off, and he's going to be ranging with that short bow for a while until a low target comes up. But red team doing a good job. Sizer's going to be on him like anything at the moment, and yeah, looking quite good for them.
Yeah, it is, and I'm just being informed that yes, it was Wacky who switched over to Warrior.
Yes,
and Fanta on DPS guard. That's he's been experimenting with that for quite a while. So it seems like he likes it now. So yeah, similar thing running here, but the turret engineer. Have you had an eye on that? How's that been faring so far?
Oh, good lord. Well, if you're the thing is, turret engineer is ridiculously the turret engineer is overpowered even as a new player. If you're an actual person who can play it and can use those blasts coming out from things like the thumper turret and also using the different turrets to explode them on fire fields and whatnot, you know, you can generate a lot of might and a ton of healing for your team. So in that kind of respect, you can actually increase, you can actually be quite useful in the team fight. But red team kind of just need to leave him alone, but they're still going for the offensive sometimes. We can see the wall banner coming out for Syndra there as he goes into the Shadow Refuge, coming out with Skull Kid as well. They could probably re-engage here. Onto Chosen Sin maybe if he comes out of stealth, but he's not going to as he withdraws. Still, we're kind of all over the place over on this point towards the Henge now at the moment as well. Noct is trying to actually leave the point as he gets taken home maybe from Quive here. He's not really got a ton of damage, knocking him back just to interrupt, but Noct goes into that Death Shroud to just mitigate a bit of that damage and sticks down a well to cause some pain to Quive.
And we had a long chase of Sizer ending with the death of Chosen Sin. 3 people tried to take out Sizer, and then the 2 thieves just turned it around in 1 second and brought him down into the downstate. But quick pickup there, 2 people against 3, and the rest was fairly secure, especially with Sizer just running for his life basically. But they're good on the caps, they're good on the rotation. We see Sizer picking up the 3rd cap here. With even the blue team being dominant on the midpoint, this is still bringing them into the lead so quickly.
Yeah, and they've got Syndra near here as well, so that's quite good. They might be able to get the kills here. Obviously, Noct has gone down over towards the Henge. He went down a while ago, and he was still being bled out just while Kuvo is kind of looking after the Henge point. Skull Kid quite low here. He's going to disengage and go around the south side to the east point, east of the key points. We do see Homunculus in the downstate, and oh wow, here comes the domes and everything. No cleaves coming out from the thief there. That's what those domes are just really good for, you know. It kind of negates a lot of those projectiles that come in for cleaves, so it's actually not a bad idea. Just as we go into the perspective of Sizer here, is just the skirmishing that's happening in the roads below the keep. Blue team having quite a lot of trouble actually picking up a point now. Just getting the mid. See if we can go over to Henge, see if they can get anything from this. Quiver is alone at the moment, needs some support. If he doesn't get it soon, he is going to go down quite quickly here. We've got Grandmaster Noct and also Cranox coming in. They're definitely going to be able to kill him. He's down. They're going to grab the point, but they need
to leave now. They need to leave now. I mean, okay, now we see the reinforcements coming, so them staying there is actually a pretty good thing. Maybe securing it in terms of the thieves. We also see Genium Odium or Homunculus Odium now running in, so we're going to have the big team fight there. But it just looks like they kind of get suckered into the team fights. I mean, what am I saying is suckered, but then not really benefiting from the win of the team fight.
Saw the banner coming out there, so the banner was successful right there, but Noct is in not the best situation. I mean, he needs to get some... See, what they wanted to do there was really support Noct. He had his Lich form up as well, so what they needed to do was really... If they get him up now and heal him up, he needs to pop that Lich form and switch this fight around. Really needs to happen. They need to get him on top somewhere, use that flesh worm and get out.
We see a lot of Necros. There we go. We see a lot of power Necros, especially having trouble finding the right the right moment in time to pop that Lich Form. Sometimes you're just under a bit too much pressure and you don't want to waste and want to retain the cooldown. Now switching out just in the nick of time to use the Death Shroud.
No one's gonna
Grandmaster gonna get the rest? No, he will not. Oh, but not ready on Homunculus because he didn't attack him for so long.
Yeah, but unfortunately, why the blue team? The blue team just completely avoided. They pushed out and left the 2v2 going on, I guess. They knew that someone was down and they thought they had that fight, but in the end they didn't. Chosen Sin down, stay over towards the mine now as we see Quive and Sizer trying to take out ChroNickGamer as he starts to disengage. But now it's not looking too good for the blue team, of course, being about 150 or so points behind. You know that this is not completely out. This is completely, well, doable that they can actually come back here. We've seen it happen before, and
well, maybe a bit of a stretch. We've seen it happen, but a lot of stuff needs to happen, especially coming out from a double gap with one neutral. It's these thieves. They're just so quick over the map, and they're so hard to deal with in terms of keeping an eye on your caps, especially if we have a look at it. Well, not the most mobile team on there.
I mean, I think like focus targeting, like you kind of said, is the main key point, really. You know, these guys were getting their targets down very quickly, whereas the blue team, they were getting a lot of team fights won over on the mid early on. But then their rotations, and I think you said it when they weren't moving out of the actual map that quickly, you know, and when they were 3v1 over on the let me just update the score, sorry. When they were 3v1 over on the Henge, they could have just dissipated from that fight and inviting people to not join, so many people to join that fight, because if they'd initiated over on the mid, they would have pulled maybe the Thieves over there, capped the Henge, come back into the game with the points, been able to then try and run over and sustain that node and kind of initiate a big team fight, which is kind of where they were winning, although at the end, you know, they lost that over on the Henge point, unfortunately. But this is a different map, and it's a different time, because it's the second game, and maybe they can come back. And I think they could probably do it, but the problem is that we've got two thieves on the red team, and there's a lot of mobility there to get around the map and actually secure points very quickly. And Sizer is the man who is always going to be doing that. We saw him get some decaps in that last game, and even full caps to the point where, you know, they really started to move ahead. But I don't know, what could blue team do?
I'd like to start and say a similar thing as I have with the Salt versus the Mind Grind game we've seen last week, where we had the problem of Salt that they were kind of too aggressive on the third node and didn't just stay with their two nodes. And I said that this map is a bit easier to keep track of 2 points if you really stick with it, and often the teams, the players, but for some reason they always really become unbelievably fond of the midpoint and don't want to let that one go, which brings them kind of naturally more into towards the idea that they want to stick with that 2 cap because it's so easy to defend. So even though we've seen Thieves just split up from the big team fight and get a quick decap, with the blue team kind of having the upper hand in lots of these team fights, if they are somehow able to keep an eye on the back node and stick with a 2-point cap, I could see them winning this. But that would almost mean that they would have to maintain a 5v4 in mid and still come out ahead.
I mean, if they stick... I mean, a good thing actually on this map would be for blue team would be to stick their actual turret NG on mid. That would cause so much pain for the Thieves. It would be absolutely annoying, and it's the quickest way to get through the map. So if they can do that and secure mid, they can defend that really easily. Even if he just stays there, if he positions his turrets around the point, he can actually slow people down who are moving through mid, because missile turret and rifle turret and whatnot can pick them out if they're not stealthed. So that's not too bad. And then they've got the warrior. If they had an elementalist as well, or something else quite sustaining, that'd be quite nice. They've got that 3 DPS team. They really need to look after Noct a lot. Really do need to make sure they're looking after him. We're going to go into the game now and just see how we go, just as I'm interrupted in what I'm trying to say. Because they want to start the game, And why not, as we go into the second game? Sorry?
And who can blame them?
Exactly. Second game
play.
of the ESL Go4GW2 Cup in the quarterfinals. Nick's going to go over the splits. So we have Mind Grind versus Majestic on the blue team.
Oh, and completely ignoring the close point of the blue team here, we see them stealthing up probably. Oh, is this going to be a 3-man far engage? Quove is going to have a rough time in that. Are they going to be able to pick up Sizer? And, oh, we've actually seen Skull move over to a power... is it a power? Yeah, Power Ranger. And a bloody offensive one in that.
Yes, indeed. And then trying to push down over onto Chosen Sin now, actually. The Thief being the main target there. I would have thought it probably would have been better to go for the DPS Guardian. Not got as much avoidance. Either that or probably even the Necro, who was going to be definitely the easiest target to take down now. Skullkid is trying to focus on him from afar. So he uses that longbow number 4 to knock back Noct, and he's going to be forced into Death Shroud there. As he goes down, really, really low HP now. Tries to get that heal off. He's actually gone into Plague. So let's just double check his build now. He's going for the DPS Necro, the Power Necro, of course, still, but opting for that Plague form instead for a little bit more survivability, blinding, and a few conditions coming off of that, as well as guaranteed stomps, of course. Now over on this point,
the stability is strong.
Yeah, and the stability is indeed very, very strong. Chosen Sin going down quite low as well as Syndra here, so they need to be very careful as they stealth and try to disengage. We do have the Shadow Refuge of Chosen Sin coming out there. Syndra does a good job. He's going to have to drop his own there, and the healing field coming out from Quive, good support as he comes into that, and then we're going to see the withdrawal coming out from Syndra as they pick up the kill on Chosen Sin. Some good patience there from Syndra. I think Chosen Sin was just a little bit far there out of reach, and kind of needed to regroup with his team, especially as they had lost Noct there over on that point.
I can't quite believe that they actually had a sort of soft re-engage into a 2v4.
Yeah, I know. I don't really know why they did that. I think they were just maybe delaying so they could get mid, but if they're not careful, they're going to lose mid as well, because they can just roll over. They
saw people with low health bars and thought, yeah, I want to kill that. I want to kill that. So close, but still so far. Nutfolk's now going down on the midpoint. Grandmaster's going to be the next target, and 3 people of the red team are just chasing them over the map. We're going to lose the very important mid cap here. And now maybe we need to see a regroup, because we are seeing multiple people being down on the blue side now for quite a while.
Chosen Sin gets knocked back there as we see Skullkid coming in for the knockback on him. We're going to see downstate from Monculus. He gets raised up there in that Shadow Refuge as well. Grandmaster's still being bled out over on mid. Chosen Sin gets crit on there. So much damage coming out. And Syndra got that Venom proc as well. So he was actually in a lot of trouble there. Surprised Chosen Sin actually survived. No other focus came in. Both the Thieves are just 1v1ing kind of on the side. As we have seen Homunculus going down again here. They really need to take this kill. Low members of the blue team as well over on this node need to make sure they're going to be okay. I'm actually going to see Homunculus be raised there as well, with the war banner coming out. So we're doing sorry, that was not a war banner at all. He's gone into vengeance. What am I talking about? So the war banner coming out
was picked up with a war banner, so they basically lost no one there except for Homunculus now dying afterwards in the vengeance. Secured the waterfall point and are looking for the engage on the mid. They are 1 person down. Nachtfuchs almost going down. He needs to retreat there and can't be engaged on by one of the thieves. Is thankfully a lot. Oh, but not far away enough. Not quite for the port and not quite for the longbow there. That range is just immense. And now he's saving himself into the Death Shroud and is trying to kite him line of sight. The fear is not going to do any damage on him.
How is he still alive?
How is he still alive? That's the question. Now going for the rest, and they had lots of time to prepare for to mentally prepare for that rest, because he was basically dead for almost a minute now. And now with Nachtfuchs being a bit more safe again, they're trying to turn it around. Sizer being the first target. Do we have Skullkid running as well? Are they going to get the down? No, we see a last minute port, and all of them are going to get out of this alive. How?
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, good play over there from Red as well in the end, and I made a little bit of a mistake. It was he did Vengeance and pop off the banner, so the banner call was correct, but the banner indeed wasn't for himself, of course. And then he could just going into the downstate. So again, using that downstate effectively when you've got the banner to save your team and move to mid, and blue team, like you said, are surviving quite well as well as they come over towards the midpoint. Obviously, Grandmaster is dead and defeated. We've got the quarry still in favour of the red team at the moment. Big team fight over on mid, still not able to get this cap here over on the waterfall as as Homunculus is currently versus Nox as well. And someone needs to try and +1 this fight and maybe take him out quite quickly, although Nox should be able to might be able to pick this up quite soon. We actually have ChroNickGamer going into the down state there as well as Tyrannosaurus wrecked. Not looking too good for the blue team, and that name is kind of a mouthful, but not really. Grandmaster getting the decap here over on the quarry. Is actually going to stick there for the full cap as well. Blue team losing 3 members on the map at the moment is going to be a bit of an issue for them to come back into the game quite quickly. Chosen Sin needs to move. He doesn't need to be here at the moment. It's trying to initiate that 1v1, but just needs to protect the point they have. And maybe the other 3 guys can come out and go over towards Waterfall at the moment.
Yeah, it's a difficult situation. You kind of see that normally in a situation like that, you need to get out of the fight alive and try and wait for the respawn. Try and wait for the respawn, stealth up, get a new engage going, kind of start all of it anew. But with the points being as they are, you can see that the blue team doesn't really want to go for it. If they chose a really long regroup, this could almost be the end of the game already. So they're kind of looking for the picks on the side, looking for the kills they may be able to sneak by without dying, but that is very risky. But by the looks of it, they actually managed to do it. Nachtfuchs is coming in from the side, and now we have 4 people taking out Syndrome as a start. Skull might follow. Should at the moment still invulnerable, is trying to dodge away, and he is so quick as a ranger.
Yeah, I was on him for quite a while there, just trying to look at his movement and seeing how he was going with that Power Ranger build. Of course, we see a lot of people running into Power Ranger builds on this map. Red team doing probably what blue team didn't in the early game, actually, and trying to withdraw there. But Skull is going to actually go into the down state. We're going to see a Fear coming out there as well. A good res coming out from the red team as they start to move back onto the Noid. Needs to make sure someone gets on points and keep the cap by 1 or 2 ticks there. Quiver is going to be able to pick up the node and make sure that they keep it in their favour. Just keeping the lead, really. Skull is going to go into the down state here, though. Pressurised all the way from Quarry. They're still not going to get the kill. Good job from Red Team. Good support for each other at the moment, actually, as well. Skull's still quite low. Needs to move out here.
It's really weird. These are 2 triple DPS teams, and I've never seen so many successful reses. Like,
I know.
For half a year now.
The pressure's just insane.
Yeah, it's kind of different. It's more spike and focus orientated, as we had with the Celestial meta before that. It was just AoE cleave as much as possible. So if we have it down here, and maybe they also play with a bit of a different mentality. Just, okay, we need to get that res at the instant he goes down, otherwise we don't have a chance in hell.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really cleaving much on when the bodies go down. I mean, that's the only problem that they're having. I mean, they're not really. There's not been many downs, to be fair. I mean, there's so many reses again. Skull Kid's actually going to go down over on the mid now. So just about say that Syndrome is quite low himself as he's going to re-engage here, just trying to get that stealth as well as he's just getting a ton of stealth. Actually, drops into mid as Quive goes down, and also Sizer. Are we going to see Syndrome coming to the rescue here at all? No, he's going to bail fully, and he's actually going to go to that waterfall fight. +1, it's a good idea from him. He can come in and get the burst onto Tyrannosaurus Rex. He's still low, but just about goes down. That turret blows up. Syndrome goes flying backwards. Homunculus is going to get pulled back by that. Oh, look at Chosen Sin, the hero! Comes in for the burst on Homunculus, and he's going to be able to get the down.
Not fast enough!
Oh!
Not quite fast enough. Tyrannosaurus Rex is going down first, meaning the rally of Homunculus Odium, but he's going to go down afterwards. First, I wanted to criticize ChroNickGamer also going over to that fight, but with the +1 from Syndrome, that was actually a pretty good idea, and is maybe the only thing that kept them in the game until now. Getting Syndrome down, and they're getting these picks between the points. And really alleviating the pressure that came out from the red team earlier, especially picking up these thieves all over the place. It gives you some breathing room in terms of decaps, but with 400 points, more than a 200 point lead, not even a Lord kill can give you the lead now.
Look at Tyrannosaurus though, he's in the right place. He can easily get that decap over on Quarry. Easily.
Yeah, but so can Sizer.
Look, guys, blue team. breaking my heart here. And they're doing, they're unfortunately, oh, they managed to get Skull down over on the mid. If they can keep that point contested over on, now, you know, DPS Guardian is not great for a thief, of course, but, you know, SD, he might be able to do a bit better there. Over on the midpoint, of course, we've seen Skull go down. Sizer having that 1v1 over on the waterfall. Over on the quarry now, we haven't actually seen the turret engineer get the knockbacks yet, and actually pulls one out there. Nice little knockback to get him off a node. Still a lot of ticks though, and really, Red Team are doing a fantastic job at staying on node. They've got a lot of, oh god, again, look at Homunculus getting knocked off. Groove's really low himself. We're going to see Nox coming in as well to offer up some support in terms of damage. He's going to be able to get the kill down on Quivre there. He goes down. They need to maybe just think about trying to knock him off. If Tyrannosaurus has actually got that rifle, you can probably knock him off, but he's still got no cooldown on that at the moment. They've got the contestion, and now they need to really think about supporting each other. Oh, the Tyrannosaurus is moving out. He's got his turrets back up though. Good timing on his turrets there for him. Sizer gets the decap on mid though. Blue team need to fully commit to the map. And how many times do we see this, Nick, when teams have such a late comeback over on Fofire?
It's just it's a bucket with too many holes. Really, they're spreading themselves too thin. They need to cover awesome. All 3 points pretty much for the entire time, and if you already allowed the enemy to get a lead, then they can kind of play off that. They don't need to contest all 3 points, they can stick with 1. They could now completely ball up on that waterfall and take the win. No issue, not even the Lord Rush is a real threat.
Oh, Sizer goes down just as Grandmaster gets down there, so unfortunately he's not going to rally off him, obviously, and just unfortunate Sizer not being able to pull out there. But again, the Res not really having to worry about that, as they are currently outnumbered on this point. Blue team having a few problems, but Syndrome is going to go down as well as he commits, and the blast comes out from ChroNickGamer there, doing some nice damage himself. Chosen Sin dying right next to Syndrome there, saying, oh dude, you're going to get rezzed blatantly before I am. Fast rezzing again coming out from the red team, from 2 very squishy members as well. Skull coming out, Syndrome and also Sizer on this node.
Close. Kept coming up exactly when we get to 500 points with a waterfall tick.
Look at the scoring point.
That could have gone really, really close. I mean, it's still more than 200 points to make up for, but a 499 decap, that would have been some exciting stuff there.